Welcome, everyone. It is your girl, your co-host, Cynthia J on the Cynthia J Show, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men. I got me a bell here. This was given as a gift. Here's your herbalist, your birthing doula, your inspirational healer, your sister from another mother. We are welcoming you live today on the Cynthia J Show, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men. It is Thursday, and we are getting close to the end of October. What is good with everyone? I am so excited to be on here with you guys today. I'm definitely grateful to be up here with you guys today. I missed y'all. I don't know about you, but I definitely can say this week has definitely been a week like no other. So much has been going on, so many news reports about so many things that I couldn't even catch up with. When I'm telling you, it was hard for me to catch up with. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share. If you have any issues on TikTok, Instagram, or any other platform, you can look your sister up on YouTube at Cynthia J22. At Cynthia J22. Don't be shy. Don't be scared. Go on ahead and look your sister up on that platform and get ready, get ready, get ready. I'm telling y'all, we are going to be going into some good things today, some good topics. We're going to give you some updates of some current news that's been circling around. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share on this lovely Thursday. We are hitting off strong. I'm telling you, so many things has been going on. In different diasporas, I'm just, all I can tell you is too many things been going on. So with that being said, you go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And for those who are joining me on Instagram Live, I won't be doing Instagram as much like I used to. So if you get a chance, hit your sister up again on YouTube at cynthiaj.gospel, at cynthiaj.gospel, or you can just find me Cynthia J22, Cynthia J22 on YouTube, Cynthia J22, for those who are just chiming on in. Welcome again. I'm your co-host, your girl, Cynthia J. I'm just getting up here, guys, making sure everybody knows that I'm on here. So definitely be patient with your sister. But with that being said, I'm definitely going to share some news for some who don't know, for some who do know. But again, for those for this month of October, I definitely got to put this out because there's been so much going on. I send out my prayers and my love and good energy and so much more to those who have lost loved ones in this past month or before then. My heart goes out to you. Next month will be a whole year since the ascension of my brother, and I definitely know how you are feeling. So for those who have lost loved ones dear to them, just know, keep yourself on high. Do not allow yourself to go in deeper depression or anything like that. Hey, if you need somebody to talk to them. If you need to vent about it, vent about it. If you want to go out in the middle of the woods and yell out, yell out. Because I'm telling you, holding it in, you do not want to put yourself in a state of depression. But with some updated news, I don't know if you guys heard about this one, but this is pertaining to a couple who had just got married. So I'm going to read the title out to you guys. You can also find this. This came off a Twitter page. For those who don't know, I'm going to show y'all this lovely couple that just had got married. For those who don't know, if you can see it, this lovely couple. Very sad news here. The reason why I said for those who lost loved ones, this young man name was Tyreek Burton, 37 years old, was fatally shot outside of his wedding reception, guys. Like, it was all over something very stupid, very ignorant minded. You know, that's me to say. Other people may, beg to differ, but I'm telling you guys, here it was saying they were shot at their own wedding reception at Barber Park Event Center in Greensboro, North Carolina over the weekend over a road rage incident. Over a road rage incident. Do y'all hear that? He even apologized to the gunman, and the buddy still shot him in the chest. I don't know if you guys heard about this situation, but this goes to show you that some people are really not there. When I mean not there, they are not in their right mind. If the brother turned around on his wedding day at his reception and you show up. First of all, how did you even realize that's where he was at unless you followed him? Like, seriously, unless you followed him to his wedding, you waited after the wedding ceremony and then waited until everybody got comfortable to see, okay, we here at the wedding reception. Let me go on ahead and shoot him up while he stepped outside. You waited for him to step his foot outside the door and leave his love of his life and his children fatherless. Like, where do they do that at? Yet again, we have those type of people that's out here. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, make sure that you are being careful. There are some people over road rage that will follow you home. Make sure you're watching your surroundings, please. Brothers and sisters out here, teach y'all kids this too, because even children, teenagers, they're out here getting their driver's license and they're driving now. And there are some people that's just, not wrapped too tight. Not wrapped too tight. They need to hear the bell. They need to hear that bell. They say ringing a bell is a good sign. Why you think you don't see any more bells like you used to? That wakens up the frequencies. Yes, yes. So please keep this, lovely couple. I mean, lovely. The bride was amazing. She was beautiful. Look at this picture. Like, this was the brother that got shot, guys. I don't know if you guys can see that. This lovely brother. And his bride was, his wife, amazing. She's so beautiful. Like, this is sad. It breaks my heart, like, to see how people can be. Like, where are their minds at? You can find this if you guys are on Twitter or other social medias, but this is under Mr. Holdsbeans. This was a few days ago, and that really broke my heart. Like, I had no other words on that, because that goes to show you that the mentality of some people, they just ain't wrapped too tight. I don't know no other word to put it, but just to tell you, they just ain't wrapped too tight. So with that being said, make sure you guys are protecting yourselves on highways and byways. If you got somebody that's turning around doing some road rage mess, please make sure that you are making sure you're putting yourself in a safe environment. If they follow you, try your best. I don't always say, hey, drive to the police station. However, if you know your area, you know your police precinct, you know your environment. If they are going to be there to help you for real, just make sure that you keep yourself covered, because again, you're dealing with crazy people who just ain't wrapped too tight. And if they get angry over something like that, why are you going to get mad at me over something? I could have cut you off by mistake. He could have been rushing to his wedding to get to his wife, you know? So with that being said, please keep that brother, family, his wife, and all of them lifted up in prayer. It's so much chaos going on. This is another news, and then I'm not going to stay on nothing too negative, because after this, I have something good and positive for y'all to hear. But this is another situation. This happened out in Texas. A man kills his pregnant wife, then calls 911 and said it was a suicide. Okay, y'all heard me say this on my previous podcast before, guys, that it's been a high volume of couples being murdered by their spouse, more now than ever before. So for those who are out there in their relationships, who are married, I'm not saying don't get no ideas. I don't condone, but please don't get no ideas. Be safe. If you are in something, that a relationship that's abusive, or your spouse is, unstable, or if you may be doing something, because I have seen where spouses are stepping out doing things they shouldn't, and some crazy stuff happens. For real. Some crazy stuff happens. And you don't need to put yourself in a situation or that person jeopardizing your lives over foolishness. Please. Let's not do that. It's too many things out here. People are crazy. People are snapping, because ever since the pandemic, it's been a little different. Haven't you not noticed? It's been a little different. People are not the same. They can't handle the pressure of things. So with that being said, please, again, make sure you're protecting yourself. Be mindful not to do anything foolish that will hinder you and your life and others. So with that being said, I'm going to chime on into some happy good stuff here on a young man. Y'all gonna love this. This right here tops the cake. 14-year-old boy makes history as the youngest freshman ever at Compton State University. Compton State, 14. How often do we get to hear the smart guy, the smart kid, Who remember that show, Smart Guy? The 10-year-old young man who was smart in high school, then he ended up being in the same grade with his brother, then he goes on to college. Come on. We need more of these smart guys up here. We need more of these smart girls up here so that our children can know that with all things, anything is possible. 14-year-old walks the halls of high school for the freshman year. He turns around, he ends up in Compton, and he always wanted to go to college. He's been on campus, he has experienced that and seen on TV and has read books. Young man name is Mohammed. Yes. He never even imagined of studying cybersecurity engineering. He went on a full ride scholarship. Full ride scholarship. Y'all guys have heard me say time and time again about making sure our kids excel in their gifting. You have heard this time and time again. It doesn't matter if you're a single parent, you're a single auntie, uncle, sister, brother, whoever you are. Let your kids know they have to tap into their gifting. When they tap into their gifting, they're birthing something new out. This is why it's so important we stay on our kids. They will not like it. They will still not like it. They will get to the point where they be like, they don't want to be around us. However, when you put something into their hand and help them to increase what they have, woo, it's a powerful force to be reckoned with. A powerful force. So this young man definitely is enjoying it. It said his mom taught him to read by the time he was 3. He started first grade by the time he was 4. His mom homeschooled him for some of his educational journey, but he also attended both private and public. And that's what I did with, our daughter. It's still tough for her this year because she desires to be liked. And like all parents, we always tell our kids, don't worry about being liked by people because at the end of the day, everybody is not going to like you. They're going to be jealous of your gifting. They're going to smile in your face, make pretend that they're your friend, and want to desire to steal your identity or anything that they can do to get what they want. So with that being said, you're going to get a lot of that. So focus, focus, focus is what we got to keep telling them. And so this hasn't stopped this young man, and he is still soaring. He is the top in his class. And guess where he's from? Baltimore, Maryland. Any Baltimore, Maryland brothers and sisters out there? Baltimore, Maryland, as they would say, be more. Yes, yes. Young man. This is the young man, if y'all can see him. Gifted and talented young man. Yes, yes. So make sure, brothers and sisters, we put our kids in a good place. And what I love here is that the mom made sure not only did he have homeschooling with most of his journey, but he also knew who he is and he experienced private and public school. And that is something that, not every household is blessed to be able to have, if y'all know what I mean by that, because, think about it. Not everybody can afford private school. Private school is not cheap. It's not cheap at all. It is not cheap. And I can tell you that from personal experience. Some private schools, they start off a semester the cheapest. Back in the day, it used to be like $300-$400, depending on where you live at. If you living in like the, lower areas, they'll be like that. But if you're living in them suburban high areas, they'll be about 6 to 8. But if you're living in them city high areas, you already know that's past $1,000. So with that being said, definitely, pay attention to that because that costs, woo, all I'm gonna tell you, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. But with that being said, I'm trying to find this other article that I needed everybody to hear about, dealing with a brother from, he was borderline from Alabama and Mississippi. Let me see if I can find that. So y'all bear with y'all sister here, because this one, people don't believe that this is still going on. People think that we are still living in a utopia world, and we are not. So, with that being said, I need for all of us to take the time to realize that we need to stop sleeping. And what I mean by that, we need to stop sleeping. We need to stop sleeping and stop thinking that just because it hasn't happened in our backyard, that it won't happen. Let me share something with you. It will happen. It's still happening. It's happening everywhere. Everywhere. Every day is smiling in your face. Every day is smiling behind your back. Every day it could be right, standing right there. Just a drop of it. And you still think that nothing can happen to you as long as you keep to yourself. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So with that being said, you know, please make sure that you are always aware of what goes on. So this article, I don't know why I'm having trouble finding it. It's dealing with a amazing brother who was also a farmer. It's been some similarities like this article where this brother was being harassed, being bullied, being taunted to the point that he had to file many charges, not just at those who were trying to insult him, but also at the police department. He had to take it over the head. And out of all the days now, I'm having an issue of pulling it up. I found it. I'm just having an issue of pulling it up, and it act like it doesn't want to pull up. Let me try something else, guys. Be patient with y'all, sister. But yeah, this was a sad, very heartbreaking story, and I didn't like it. It's like all of a sudden they just eliminated this article. But yes, this brother, I'm gonna give you a little bit of the feedback from what I had already read. This brother was, like I was saying, he had already filed police reports. He had made many of reports on the fact that he had been harassed by even police officers. He filed, then he realized he had to go above the head. And as he went above the head, he sued the police department. And then next thing you know, they found him lynched from a tree. They said hanging, and they tried to say he committed suicide. His wife and them do not believe that he committed suicide. And with that being said, that is one of the things that happened in the borderline of Alabama and Mississippi. And so, with that being said, this should be something that every person needs to be aware of. Why it's important that you should know the whereabouts of your area. Ah, I found it. There it go. So here it goes. A disabled Alabama black man was found hanging from a tree. His family believes police were involved. Now, this was reported at the beginning of this month, October 9th. I'm going to read a little bit about this article, so definitely be patient with your sister because I ain't going to keep y'all on here too long because I got to spend time with my family too, just like you guys. So, we over here in the East Coast. Time changes a little different. But let me go ahead and read. About 8 months ago, after a black man filed police brutality lawsuit against Alabama Police Department, he was found hanging by a rope. Is it a coincidence? His family doesn't think so. Me personally, I don't think so. My prayers, you don't think so. And this should go to show why it's so important for us to be aware of what is going on in our neighborhoods, in our backyard, in our community. We are out here worried about stuff in other people's countries, and we got major catastrophes going on over here. There's still things that's going on that people are not aware of. Yes. Y'all can look this article. This article is under The Root. Yes. Let me finish reading it to you. On Wednesday, attorney Roderick Van Daniels filed a motion demanding the Sheffield Police Department to hand over body camera videos related to an interaction between 38-year-old Donoris, hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right, please to the family. Please to the family. And so, with that being said, we got a froze on here. It's freezing me on my other page. Y'all bear with me, guys. Y'all gonna hear a little bit of interference. Let me get them back on up ready, because every time I get on and start talking about some deep stuff that's about to get deep, they always want to freeze a sister. It never fails. It never fails. If it ain't on one, it's on the other. They had already tried to do it on my Instagram page. Yes. They've been trying to freeze me for a minute. I'm telling y'all, it's getting ridiculous. For real, for real. Sorry about that now, guys. They trying to freeze me again. I had that happen earlier. They was even doing it on my Instagram. Then they turn around and put a block on my Instagram stuff. That's because they know what we getting ready to put out here is pushing some real information. But anyway, let me get back to reading this article. So, the 38-year-old, and again, as I was saying, praying it to the family, I don't mess his name up, Donoris Richardson, and several other officers from earlier this year. The filing is part of a February civil lawsuit alleging that the Richardson was subjected to unconstitutional arrest and violence at the hands of the local officers, despite him being disabled. Again, this brother, I heard he had master hands at certain things. He was a farmer and everything, they said. The suit claimed Richardson was being harassed by the department from November to December of 2022. Do y'all hear that? 2022. Let's read on. So, across the incident, the suit claims officers viciously beat him, compromised his asthma by spraying mace in his face, and denied him food while he was detained inside a jail cell. In one incident, the suit claimed one of the officers yelled, "Nobody can help you," at Richardson while he was strapped to a chair where he had been restrained for 3 hours. 3 hours. Do y'all hear that? 3 hours. 3 hours. The police department, his local police department, strapped him for 3 hours. And he asked for help. And they told him nobody was going to help him. And we call this the land of the free, the land that helps. The lies they tell. If people knew the real and remember the true history of police when it comes to a black man or a brother and sister, it's a whole different ballgame. Then you're going to say, well, hold on. This is supposed to be a podcast to encourage. Yes, it's a podcast to encourage. But it's also a podcast to tell the truth and expose the foolishness. Expose the foolishness. Yes. We living in a land that tell lies. That makes it seem like it's so hunky-dory over here, as they would say. It's not. Not when you got people doing stuff like this. This is stuff that our ancestors had dealt with for many years. And no matter how much you try to hide it, it can't be hidden because it's still there. Let's continue to read on. And then after they said 3 hours after most of the interaction, the suit claimed Richardson was falsely charged with assault. He was falsely charged with assault. Then they say here his wife, Leah Ann, tells the Sheriffville police harassed him his whole life. So they had already been targeting him his whole life. They knew about him. They knew about him. They didn't think that this brother was ever going to do anything. They just figured that he was just another black person just going to, oh, they just people. They don't know not what they do. Well, let me share something with you. Some of them do. And they made a choice. And if they had one person in there that just said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to be here for this time being. And I love my job and I just want to do this and do that, then you're a fool too. Because now you're interceding and interacting with their foolishness, and now you are in the mix of the charge. Oh, yeah. Now you are in the mix of the charge. And then they're going to try to make it seem like this is a suicide. This ain't no suicide. No, it's not. It's not a suicide. Come on now. Who you fooling? You ain't fooling the ones that been knowing the whole foolishness for years. You might be fooling the ones that still believe that change is coming. Change been came. But the foolishness still remain the same. This time, you got some generations that will not bow down no longer. Let's keep reading. By the time he filed the lawsuits, the cops had just arrested him again. Again. And check this one out. Guess what they did when they arrested him? Again. For on drug charges. They trying to pin stuff on him to make it seem like it's building up on him to make themselves seem innocent. Come on now. They ain't fooling nobody. They didn't like the fact that he pointed each and every one of those officers out. And they said it's been going on all his life. So he said enough was enough. Enough is enough. And I salute that brother for standing his ground. Then it says Richard's wife also alleged they offered to drop the charges if he dropped the suit. Richardson refused. To our brother who ascended with the ancestors, I thank you for standing your ground and refusing. I thank you for standing your ground and refusing and not folding, because now you're saving another generation so that they can see history and remember that in their blood why they should stand. Here we go. However, his determination for justice may have just been gruesomely overshadowed for what will come months later. They also try to say that this brother was fighting depression and all this other kind of stuff. But they also stated he was out on probation for following the arrest, but decided to turn himself in after learning he would have to serve his across the country, forcing him to move from his 5 children. Y'all hear that? He had 5 children. 5 children. 5 children, guys. 5 children he had. He still has 5 children. Come on now. And now his kids are sitting here without a father. But they're going to remember his legacy. His wife also stated to the reporters after he left the house, she stopped hearing from him on September 26th. He was reported missing. 2 days later, Richardson was found dead. He was hanging by a rope on the porch of an abandoned home near the Mississippi line. Do y'all hear that? He was found at an abandoned home near the Mississippi line, where his family said he had no business being. According to a court filing, Richardson family still haven't received his death certificate. Didn't y'all remember hearing stuff like that happening a lot? especially in Mississippi after the what was it? The prison had been caught under investigation and reported to the federal government of all the bodies and stuff, and people didn't receive death certificates for their loved ones. Yes. Remember that. Keep that in tab now. Also, they said, however, the autopsy ordered by the Calvert County District Attorney Office ruled his death suicide. So you already know that ain't true. We know that ain't true. Come on now. We spoke to the family members that said the last time they had spoken to Mr. Richardson, he had been a little depressed, worried about his future as far as the charges he was looking at. However, he was just down and out for a little. However, he was giving some of his property away. It appeared to be apparent again that they try to say it's suicide, but he stood his ground. Then his mother, see, a mother knows their child. A mother knows their child. Do y'all hear that? Let me ring the bell on that. A mother knows their child. My son was joyful. He didn't have any mental issues. He would never kill himself. He would not hurt himself. This is coming from his mother, Bonita. He really was in fear of his life. However, I think it's a homicide. The family is currently awaiting the results of the private autopsy to return, which could take months. You know how that is when you're doing a private autopsy. Well, the filing alleged that the footage was previously denied because they said, meanwhile, the motion filed Wednesday to request body cam videos and jail surveillance footage for the incident prior to his death, they was denied. Why would they deny that? Think about that. Think about that. Why would they deny that? Doesn't make any sense. Why would they deny that? Well, the suits named Sheriff's Police Department officers, and these are their names. And again, this is not to discredit those who are actually trying to fight for what's right, those who are actually out there trying to come in and make the changes to stop the ones who are carrying, these badges wrongly. But it's time for we to have our own officers for us in certain communities to prevent situations like this from occurring. However, these are the names of those at the Sheriffville Police Department officers: Brent Evans, Duran Fountain, Billy Hall, Seneca Butcher, and former Officer Matt Dutson as defendants. Dutson was fired after being convicted in an assault of another black man while off duty in 2022, the report says. Y'all hear that? Let me repeat these names again. The suits names of the Sheriff Police Department officers: Brent Evans, Duran Fountain, Billy Hall, Seneca Butcher, former Officer Mac Dotson as defendants. Dotson was fired after being convicted in an assault of another black man while off duty in 2022. We are living in dangerous times, brothers and sisters. It's time that everybody play their part and stop this foolishness. That goes for myself. That goes for you and you and you and you. So let's remember the families that are losing loved ones for things that we would never would imagine would still continue, that you would have thought that's been left in the time of slavery. No, it's still going on. Alabama and Mississippi and part of Texas and all the other places are one of the major places that these things are still occurring. And it's only a few people that are, they can do their best only for what they can to help. However, people are still living in fear. Fear is the biggest thing that is holding people back. Ignorancy is holding people back. Come on now. How much more? How much more? It's all up and down. And these small places that people don't think that this stuff still occurs, like small places like in West Virginia. There's some places even in Virginia, in North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta. I remember when I was living in certain parts of Georgia, I was seeing people down further down past Macon with Confederate flags, using the N word like it was nothing. But see, in my mind and in my spirit, I had another motive. Then I had to remind myself, if anything happened to me, how my family gonna find me? This stuff is even happening in Florida. Come on now. It's happening everywhere we go. Everywhere. So people are still lynching brothers and sisters. They lynching them with ropes in the physical. They lynching them in the courtrooms. They lynching you in your food. They lynching you in the school systems. They lynching you in all places. And the sad thing about it, it's in our own backyard, our own system. Because of the people we allow to continue to do it. So now my question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to hide and say we got to survive? We already know we got to survive. Surviving only take you but so far. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? Glad you asked these questions. So, if you guys haven't heard and don't know already, I need for y'all to make sure y'all got a pen and paper down for this amazing event that's getting ready to come soon this week. Actually, I should say weekend. I'm excited about this, and I need to make sure everyone knows about it. I'm about to put it up here on the screen, but for those who are unable to see it, who are on my TikTok and Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I read it to you. But for those who don't know, our amazing sister, Vicky Dillard, and brother Riza Islam will be having an event this Sunday. This Sunday. So y'all better make sure y'all come prepared this Sunday for this amazing event that they're going to be having. You do have to make sure you purchase tickets to make sure you have enough seating. So for those who don't know about Vicky Dillard, make sure that y'all get up there. This is the 911 underground pandemic on how America Zionism is connected. A webinar. You got to make sure you get your tickets. It's limited. Let me go ahead